Okay.
See, we have the paper BEGLA 135 with us today. And you might be knowing the specialities of the paper. You have written assignments based on the paper, and what are the things that you noted down when you wrote assignments with regard to this particular paper? Do you remember what are the things that you wrote? Can someone tell me what are the things you wrote while writing an assignment for this particular paper? You definitely have a passage, a comprehension passage, and you have to answer the questions based on that passage. Another question was to fill in the blanks with the correct tense forms. That is the grammar part of the question paper. You also have questions based on clauses, conditional clauses. You need to write a conversation, build up a conversation between two people given from a given situation. You might be given some hints with regard to the biographical sketch of some people, some famous people, and you have to complete the biographical sketch. You have to make a profile of those people. So these were some of the things that you wrote as part of your assignment, I believe. I hope all of you have submitted your assignments, and then let us quickly get into the lesson as such. So I would like to begin with the conditional clauses as such. See, what do you know about clauses? Clauses are of two types, the main clause and the subordinate clause. The main clause is also known as the principal clause. The subordinate clause is also known as the dependent clause. See, dependent and independent clause. Dependent clause is the one which depends on the independent clause or the main clause. Main clause അല്ലെങ്കിൽ principal clause അല്ലെങ്കിൽ independent clause എന്നറിയപ്പെടുന്ന ക്ലോസിന്മേൽ ഡിപ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതിനെയാണ് dependent clause അല്ലെങ്കിൽ subordinate clause എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. See, and see such sentences in which we have both the main clause and the subordinate clause, such sentences we know them as complex sentences. Sentences which contain both the main clause and the subordinate clause are known as complex sentences. See, and today we are going to discuss a special, a particular type of complex sentence in which we are talking about conditional clauses or conditional sentences, otherwise known as conditional sentences. See, what is the speciality of the conditional sentences? See, only on a given condition, a particular action will take place. That is the speciality of the conditional sentences. തന്നെ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ആ കണ്ടീഷന്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിലാണ് എന്ത് നടക്കുന്നത്, ആക്ഷൻ നടക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെ നടക്കുന്ന ആ ഒരു രീതിയിൽ ഒരു കണ്ടീഷൻ പ്ലേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ആ കണ്ടീഷൻ ഫുൾഫിൽ ചെയ്യുമെങ്കിൽ മാത്രമേ മറ്റൊരു കാര്യം നടക്കുള്ളൂ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ട് പറയുന്ന സെന്റൻസസിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ എന്ത് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? അങ്ങനെ പറയുന്ന സെന്റൻസസിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ കണ്ടീഷണൽ ക്ലോസസ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. We have the type 1, we have 3 types of conditional clauses. 3 type conditional clauses are there. The first one is type 1, which is also known as possible. See, possible clauses. See, what happens is, it is possible and very likely that the condition will be fulfilled. The given condition will be fulfilled and the action will take place. There is a possibility that this happens in the type 1 conditional clause. See, it is possible and very likely that the condition will be fulfilled. See, in such clauses, the if clause or the conditional clause will have the simple present tense and the main clause will be in the future tense. For type 1 clauses, simple present tense will have the simple
Ma'am, this
present
text
tense.
book
Text
ma'am.
actually I don't have the text with me. ടെക്സ്റ്റ് എൻ്റെ കയ്യിലില്ല. അപ്പോൾ ഞാൻ ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ നിന്ന് നോക്കി റെഫർ ചെയ്തിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എക്സാമിനൊക്കെ വരുന്ന രീതിയിലുള്ള ടോപ്പിക്സ് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടാണ് എടുക്കുന്നത്. Pardon, I did not hear. Hello, it's not clear to me.
Ma'am, the text book എവിടെയാണെന്ന് തിരിയുന്നില്ല, അതാ ചോദിച്ചത്.
Oh, if you go for that, for the time being, I'm helpless. Let me check. Some time will be wasted. See, I did not note down the page numbers as such with regard to these topics. See, it would have been a help to you if I have done that.
Okay.
See, maybe if I find that, I'll inform you. I'm just going through the text in the lab. Maybe I'll find out the page number and tell you. Anyhow, let's continue. See, we were talking about type 1 conditional clauses. In such clauses, what happens is it is possible, such clauses, the action is likely to take place and the condition will be fulfilled. There is a likelihood that the condition will be fulfilled and the action will be completed. See, I told
page
you.
Number 45.
Ma'am, you know the unit.
Page number 45, in that it will be there.
Page number 45,
Oh,
maybe
thank you.
Which block? Can you mention the block, please?
3.5. Talking of money matters, in that it will be there. 1 minute, ma'am. I'll check the block.
Block 2.
Unit 3 money matters. That page number 45, 3.5.
Yes, hello?
Yes, we got it, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, which unit?
Unit 3, I suppose.
Yes, unit 3 only. Money matters.
The grammar section, conditional clauses. Yes, hello?
Okay, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
Continue.
Okay. We have the type 1 conditional clauses wherein we have the if clause in the simple present tense and the main clause in the future tense. See, example of such type of conditional clause or such type of sentences.
Continue, ma'am.
See, there are
നിങ്ങൾ
Is there
ആരൊക്കെ
a problem in the audio?
Roy J. Please stop
Hello?
presenting. Shibang, continue.
Okay. See, we are discussing the type 1 conditional clauses. In that, the first example for the type 1 conditional clauses, I'm going to tell you. See, if it rains, I will be missing my train. If it rains, I'll be missing my train. So the if clause is in the present tense and the main clause is in the future tense. Then we have the type 2 conditional clauses, wherein we have the possibility or the likelihood of the condition being fulfilled is very less. See, it is possible, but unlikely that the condition will be fulfilled. സാധ്യമായേക്കാം, പക്ഷെ എന്താണ് കണ്ടീഷൻ ഫുൾഫിൽ ആവുമോ എന്നുള്ള കാര്യത്തിൽ തീർച്ചയില്ല. അങ്ങനെ വരുന്ന കണ്ടീഷണൽ സെന്റൻസസിനെയാണ് ടൈപ്പ് 2 കണ്ടീഷണൽ ക്ലോസസ് അല്ലെ ടൈപ്പ് 2 കണ്ടീഷണൽ സെന്റൻസസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. See, we have the if clause. In such cases, we have the if clause is in the simple past tense. If clause will be in the simple past tense, and the main clause will contain would plus infinitive. Main clause would plus infinitive naan undava. Main clause if clause simple past tense aan undava. See, the same sentence, if it rained, we wouldn't be able to play cricket. If it rained, we wouldn't be able to play cricket. So type 2 conditional clauses example parana njan paranjathu. So we have three types of conditional clauses: type 1, type 2, and type 3. In type 2, we have the if clause in the simple past tense, and the main clause in the will have the word, the auxiliary would, and the infinitive. If it rained, we won't be able to play cricket is the example for that. Then we have the third conditional clause, which is where the likelihood is not at all there. It's an impossible condition. See, the third type of conditional clauses, what will happen is the if clause will be in the past perfect tense and the main clause will be in the perfect tense. See, if clause will be in the past perfect tense and the main clause will have the perfect conditional. See, the result, the action in the if clause is an impossible condition in the past, and the action in the main clause is a probable result in the past. So both of these things, both the actions or both the actions that are stated in the if clause and in the main clause, both of them will not be taking place. See, that is why it expresses impossible condition. Conditional clauses third type another type 3 conditional clause ആണ്. Impossible condition in the past ആണ് if clause express ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Main clause expresses the probable result in the past. See, if I had a job, I would have a decent livelihood. If I had a job, I would have a decent livelihood. So it's clear that the person does not have a job and likewise he will not have a decent livelihood. if he doesn't have a job. ആ ഒരു രീതിയിൽ വരുന്ന കണ്ടീഷൻസിനെയാണ്, ആ ഒരു രീതിയിലെ കണ്ടീഷണൽ സെന്റൻസിനെയാണ് എന്ത് വിളിക്കുന്നത്? ടൈപ്പ് 3 കണ്ടീഷണൽ ക്ലോസ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. Impossible condition in the past is expressed in the if clause, and in the main clause probable result in the past. So this is with regard to the clauses, the 3 conditional clauses that we have in English. See, I saw in your assignment with regard to the EGLA 135 questions based on this.
Shiva,
You were given
off your mic.
you have the if clause given and you have to complete the conditional clause, the conditional sentence as such. So that is the kind of question that appeared in your assignments. So you have some examples, some more exercises given in your textbook. See, if the baby wakes up, he, and then dash is given. You have to fill it. See, if the baby wakes up, he dash. If the baby wakes up, the if clause is in the simple present tense. So what will be there in the main clause? If the baby wakes up, he will definitely cry. If the baby wakes up, he dash nanu tannirikkunnathu. If the baby wakes up nillathu simple present tense ilanullathu. That is why the answer will have the future tense. Answer le future tense undavum. ആ രീതിയിൽ ഒത്തിരി സെന്റൻസസ് നിങ്ങളുടെ ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ your text has several sentences, several exercises based on these conditional clauses. See, another example for the second type of conditional clause. See, if I were the finance minister, but the if clause is in the past tense, and definitely we will have the auxiliary would in the main clause. If I were the finance minister, I would decrease taxes. So would plus infinitive. ആ ഒരു രീതിയിലാണ് second type of conditional clauses in the questions നിങ്ങളുടെ ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ തന്നിട്ടില്ല. You will be given half the sentence. The if conditional clause will be given and you have to fill in the rest of it. See, and then this is about the conditional clauses. Then I think we should move on to the this section. See, I think we have a section on small talk in block 1. Block 1, unit 2 is about social small talk. See, before that, in that particular block, in that particular unit, you are given 2 techniques of reading. You might be familiar with that. The first one is skimming, and the second is scanning. See, 2 techniques of reading are mentioned. First is skimming, and the second is scanning. Skimming means quickly running our eyes to get the main idea in a write-up, in an article. ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു പാരഗ്രാഫില്, ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു റൈറ്റപ്പില് quickly running your eyes in order to get the main idea. That becomes skimming. What you are doing there is you are skimming. The reading technique that you use there is called skimming, SKIMMING. And then you have scanning. It's unit 2, block 1. See, we have scanning, wherein we dart our eyes over much of a text to search for a specific information, specific piece of information. So we keep our eyes keen, we look keenly into the text in order to search for a particular information, a specific piece of information. That is called scanning. See, after a discussion on skimming and scanning, the techniques of reading, the second unit takes you into what is called small talk. The small talk is nothing but a way of socializing. A way of socializing is called small talk, wherein the main aim of the act or the action is to make the guest or the stranger comfortable. Socializing or small talk is made in order to make the guest or the stranger comfortable. See, since both the people involved might be total strangers, or at least the guest will not be feeling at home, this is done in order to make them comfortable. See, what are the things we need to avoid while involving in a small talk? Which are the topics that we definitely need to avoid while involving in a small talk? The first thing is topics which give offense, or the questions which probe into a person's personal life. Probing personal questions should be avoided while involving in a small talk. Then what are the things that can be included? See, while engaging in a small talk, topics should be chosen with care, as what to say tells a great deal about us to the listener. നമ്മൾ എന്താണോ പറയുന്നത് അത് ലിസണറിന് നമ്മളെ കുറിച്ച് നല്ലൊരു ധാരണ നൽകുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് we need to be very careful when we involve ourselves in a small talk, and the topics should be carefully chosen. And what are the topics which we have to or which we can make use of while involving in a small talk, engaging in a small talk? See, we can include a talk on immediate environment. We can talk about the environment, the climate, the weather. We can talk about the buildings and places around. See, we might be sitting in a particular place, and the buildings and the places around can be made a part of our conversation. We can talk about the hotels around. We can talk about the various means of entertainment. See, such are the topics that we can make use of while engaging in a small talk. We necessarily need to avoid, see, topics which create offense, and we also need to avoid getting personal. See, going into depth, asking personal questions should be avoided while engaging in a small talk. So, this is about small talk. What is the purpose of small talk? And what are the things that we can include, and what are the things we necessarily need to avoid while engaging in small talk? I told you it is a way of socializing with people. See, and then we have what is called vocabulary part in the unit, wherein we have words which describe people. The three criteria for describing people. Three criteria for describing personal appearances. One is general appearance. The second is specific appearance. And the third is height and build. See, general appearance. See, generally what strikes us or what actually comes into our notice at one sight. ഒരു തവണ ഒരാളെ കാണുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ നമ്മളെ മനസ്സിലേക്ക് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് പതിയുന്ന കാര്യം എന്താണോ, പെട്ടെന്ന് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത് എന്താണോ, അതിനെയാണ് ജനറൽ അപ്പിയറൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Then we have the specific appearances we have to talk about. When we talk about that, three things can be included in it. One, the skin complexion. We can talk about a person's skin complexion. The second, we can talk about their hair, the way their hair appears. The third, we can talk about their face. So these are the specific details when we talk about or describe a person's appearance. Personal appearance ne kurichu samsarikkumbol specifics ekku kadakkumbol three things can be described. The first is skin, wherein we talk about the complexion, whether he or she is dark skinned, fair or whitish in complexion, tanned. Those are the things that we can use. Those are the words that we can use in order to describe the person's skin. When we talk about a person's hair, words like bald, curly, long, straight, receding hairline, boy cut, such are the words that we can make use of while we talk of a person's haircut. When we talk of a person's face, the words that we can make use of are chubby, thin, wrinkled, etc. So these are the three specificities that we can enter while describing a person. One is about the skin, the second is about the hair, and the third is about the face. The third criteria is height and build, as I told you, general appearance and then specific appearance and then height and build. See, when we talk about height and build, what are the words that we can make use of in order to describe a person? Like we say a tall person, a short person, obese, overweight, slim, well-built. These are the words we can make use of when we talk of or when we describe a person. So this is the vocabulary part given in Unit 1, Block 2. Sorry, Block 1, Unit 1. Sorry, Unit 2. Block 1, Unit 2. So in the same lesson or text, we have the grammar part, which talks about open and closed questions. Open and closed questions, which are open-ended questions and which are closed questions. See, those which have many answers are called open questions. Those which have closed or limited number of answers are called closed questions. See, open questions are WH questions. That is words, interrogative words which we use in order to ask questions. Closed questions are most of the time they are yes or no questions. Number of answers in them is limited. It is either yes or no. Such questions are called closed questions. See, sometimes you may be asked to, you may be given a particular sentence and you may be asked to write down a question that renders this answer. ഒരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് തന്നിട്ട് ആ സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ആൻസർ ആയിട്ട് വരുന്ന ചോദ്യം ഏതാണ് എന്ന് എഴുതാൻ നിങ്ങളോട് ചിലപ്പോൾ ആവശ്യപ്പെട്ടേക്കാം ഗ്രാമർ എക്സസൈസിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട്. അങ്ങനെ വരുമ്പോൾ you can make use of, as the situation demands or as the sentence demands, you can make use of either open questions or closed questions. Open questions have many answers. All the WH questions or interrogative words, when they are used to form questions, we call them open questions. For example, who, whom, whose is used for people. Whom are you searching for? Whose book is this? ആ ഒരു രീതിയിലുള്ള സെന്റൻസസ് WH ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിൽ വരുന്നതാണ്, ഓപ്പൺ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആണ്. Which, what, how, why, etc. are other interrogative words which we can make use of in order to form open questions. See, and then we have the yes or no questions. Most of the time, the yes or no questions begin with an auxiliary. They may also begin with words like have. See, what is the speciality or specificity of yes or no questions? The speciality is that yes or no questions will have the first verb before the subject. First verb will be before the, placed before the subject. So that is with regard to the yes or no questions, the open questions and the closed questions. Open questions are those which can have many answers. Closed questions are those wherein the answers, the number of possible answers is limited. Open questions makes use of interrogative words like who, which, what, how and why, etc. While closed questions make use of auxiliary verbs. See, is that your brother? The answer is either yes or no. Have you had your lunch? Again, the answer is yes or no. The answer, the possibility of the answer is limited. So open questions and closed questions, we have gone through that. See, next is a discussion on the words which express feelings. Words which express feelings. Many of the words are given there. Words like sympathetic, words like fascinating, wonderful, annoyed, frightened, suspicious. Such are the words which we use in order to express our feelings. So then we have a discussion on adverbs. What are adverbs? See, parts of speech le adverbs ennu parayna a set of words inde. What are they? Adverbs are words which modify or qualify a verb. Noun-ine qualify cheyyunnadine nammal adjective ennu vilikkunnu. Verbine കുറിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു ധാരണ നമുക്ക് എക്സ്ട്രാ നൽകുന്നവയെ നമ്മൾ adverb എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നു. See, he ran. How did he run? He ran fast എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ആ fast എന്നുള്ളത് adverb ആണ്. She sang beautifully, melodiously. Such words are called adverbs. See, words which qualify a verb are called adverbs. But downstairs, melodiously, tomorrow, eagerly. See, they may specify the place of the action. They may specify the way in which the action is done. They may also specify the time when the action took place. So, words which tell us something, some extra information about a verb are called adverbs. So words like eagerly, tomorrow, downstairs, melodiously, fast, beautifully, all these words are called adverbs. So that is with regard to the second unit in block 1. So you might also expect questions with regard to the adjectives and their degrees of comparison. Adjectives and their degrees of comparison. We have three degrees, the positive, the comparative, and the superlative. 3 degrees are there with regard to adjectives. 3 degrees of comparison we call them. The first is positive. The second is comparative. The third is superlative. The positive form does not have any prefix. The comparative form has the prefix er with many of the words. But when the adjectives are longer, we use something else. I'll tell you about that. With the superlative form, we use the prefix est. High, higher, highest. High is the word, the positive adjective. Higher is the comparative degree of adjective. And the superlative is highest. What happens with the comparative degree is when we use the comparative degree of the adjective, we use than along with that. With the superlative degree, we use the prefix est and it is preceded by the definite article the tallest, the smartest, the highest. See, this is how we use the superlative degree of the adjective. So if you are given a fill in the blanks question, to fill in the adjectives, you need to be very careful. If you have the word than in the sentence, you should understand that there we have to use the comparative degree. If you have the word, the article, definite article, the in the sentence, which is followed by the blank, we need to keep in mind that we have to use the superlative degree there. The tallest, the largest, the smallest. This is how we use the superlative degree of the adjective.
Ma'am, can you please share your screen?
Actually, I'm not able to. Let me check if I can give you the page number. See, it's there in the block family and friends. The block family and friends, page number 12. The positive degree of the adjective denotes some quality. The comparative degree denotes a higher degree of that particular quality, especially when two things are compared. And the superlative degree is the highest degree of the quality. tall, taller, tallest, tough, tougher, toughest. So this is how we have the adjectives in the 3-degree comparison. But when we have words or adjectives which are longer, words which have more than 3 syllables, we make use of words like much, more and most. See, more and most ആണ് നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. കമ്പാരിറ്റീവിന്റെ കൂടെ മോറും സൂപ്പർലേറ്റീവിന്റെ കൂടെ most. He is the most handsome guy I ever met. The most handsome എന്ന് പറയും. So there are some adjectives which are longer in the sense they are made of more syllables. Such adjectives, when we use them in the superlative and the comparative form, we make use of most and more. Words like most and more along with them. When the adjectives are smaller in length, in the sense that the syllables are only 1 or 2. See, for example, the word pretty. The word pretty has only 2 syllables, pretty. There we can use the superlative form as prettiest, the comparative form as prettier. The word cool is a monosyllabic word. So comparative degree is cooler and the superlative is the coolest. So he is cooler than, എന്ന് പറയും, അതുപോലെ coolest, the coolest. See, longer adjectives, I told you, we use words like more and most, more beautiful, most beautiful. See, the block is family and friends. The page number I told you is 12. Family and friends in the block.
Block
Block 2.
Block 2.
Unit 1.
See, it would be good if you would not
Page number 2.
go after the textbook and see, keep searching for the particular aspect that we are discussing. See, when we talk about the tense forms, see, when we talk about the tense forms, can we shift to the next topic, tense forms? You have just located the degrees of comparison and superlative adjectives. അത് മാത്രം നിങ്ങൾ ഇപ്പോൾ locate ചെയ്തേ ഉള്ളൂ. So can I move on to the next topic? Or should I repeat? Okay, we have the adjectives. Adjectives. With regard to adjectives, what you need to learn is the 3 degrees of comparison. When we compare 2 objects or 2 persons, when we compare them, we use the comparative degree of the comparative form of the adjective. With the comparative form of the adjective, we have the suffix er, bigger than, taller than, smaller than. We use the word than in order to show that one thing is having a higher degree of quality than the other. With the superlative form of the adjective, we use the prefix est. Tall, tallest, sharp, sharpest. See, and what happens is the superlative form of the adjective is preceded by the definite article the. So if you are given a fill in the blanks question and you are asked to supply adjectives, you need to keep this in mind that when you are given a sentence with than in that fill in the blanks, a blank and then which is followed by than, you use the comparative degree of the adjective. And likely, if you are given the definite article the, which is followed by a blank, what will happen is you will have the superlative degree of the adjective there. See, for example, the tallest, he is the dash boy in the class. He is the dash boy in the class. He is the tallest. Tall nilla form alla avade ubhayikka, tallest aanu ubhayikkendathu ennu nammal engane manasilakkunu from the article definite article the. So these are some of the important aspects that might appear in your question paper. You might have, see what you have to do. Some of you are commenting about the difficulty of the paper. The paper is not that difficult. Don't worry about it. As I told you, the question pattern, the first one will be a passage and you have to answer the questions based on the passage. See, most of the time, the answers to the comprehension quizzes will be directly available in the passage. When you look for the words, the key words in the question in the passage, you'll definitely find the answer in the passage very quickly. So you have to be a bit more, what do you say? You need to keep reading something extra in order to sharpen your vocabulary. Vocabulary aspect is important because from the passage, what they do is they might ask you a synonym or an antonym of a given word from the passage. So passage il koduttirikkunna word inde pariyayamo അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഓപ്പോസിറ്റമോ ചോദിച്ചേക്കാം, ആ രീതിയിൽ ചോദിച്ചേക്കാം. അപ്പൊ ആ ഒരു ഏരിയ ആണ് നിങ്ങൾ ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. യു നീഡ് ടു റീഡ് സംതിങ് എക്സ്ട്രാ എവറി ഡേ so that you are thorough with your vocabulary. See, and then the grammar part. Grammar part definitely will contain questions with regard to the tense forms and the clauses. Building up a conversation is not that difficult an area, I suppose. See, how to begin a conversation and how to end a conversation, such things are to be kept in mind. You need to be very careful about that. Otherwise, you can build up a conversation about a given situation. Most of the biographical details of a famous personality will already be given to you in the question paper. What you need to do is you need to add them, those hints about a personality, into proper sentences, and you need to form a biographical sketch of the person. See, I think in your assignment it was a biographical sketch of Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa'യുടെ biographical sketch ആയിരുന്നു prepare ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട് നിങ്ങളുടെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പറിൽ തന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായി, നിങ്ങളുടെ അസൈൻമെന്റിൽ തന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായതെന്നാണ് ഞാൻ ഓർക്കുന്നത്. So these are the things that you need to keep in mind while you discuss or while you prepare for this particular paper.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
In the question paper, it was not given to write the biographical sketch of Mother Teresa, isn't it? We can write the biographical sketch of any other person also.
Actually, I followed a video wherein the profile or biographical sketch of Mother Teresa was being discussed. I did not get hold of the question paper BEGLA 135 ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ അസൈൻമെന്റിന്റെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പർ ഞാൻ കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടായിട്ടില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ കണ്ടത് എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു അത് മദർ ടെരേസയുടെ പ്രൊഫൈൽ അല്ലെ ബയോഗ്രഫിക്കൽ സ്കെച്ച് ആയിരുന്നു ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെട്ടത്. Anyhow, yes.
ഇല്ല, അങ്ങനെ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല.
അതെ മാം, ഇപ്പോഴത്തെ മെൻഷൻ അല്ല.
Okay. See, actually your assignments have also not reached me. That is why I'm not very particular about that, the personality whose biographical sketch is to be written, but I suppose details of the person will be given to you. Weren't the details given?
Details only to write the biographical sketch of any social reformer.
Only that was given.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
And no, only word limit, and we can
No
write
details
about
were given, ma'am.
But that might not be the case with your question. Don't worry, assignment ആയിരുന്നു ഇത്. പക്ഷെ എക്സാമിന് തീർച്ചയായിട്ടും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ചെറിയ ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ്, ഡേറ്റ് ഓഫ് ബർത്ത്, സ്കൂളിംഗ്. Yes. Yes, it's not audible.
മിസ് ഒരു ഡൗട്ടേ.
Yes, പറഞ്ഞോ.
മിസ് ഈ എക്സാമിന് എപ്പോൾ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടാണോ വരിക?
എക്സാമിന് മിക്കവാറും ബയോഗ്രഫിക്കൽ സ്കെച്ചിലെ കുറച്ച് എലിമെന്റ്സ് എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് നിങ്ങൾ നൽകിയിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. എന്നിട്ട് മാത്രമേ നിങ്ങളോട് ബയോഗ്രഫിക്കൽ ഒരു പ്രൊഫൈൽ തയ്യാറാക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി പറയുള്ളൂ.
ഓക്കെ മാം.
Ma'am, one more doubt.
Yes.
ഫസ്റ്റത്തെ സെക്ഷൻ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യനില് ഒരു പാസേജ് തന്നിട്ട് നമുക്ക് അതിന് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ്, അപ്പൊ മാം പറഞ്ഞു അതില് കീവേഡ്സ് സെർച്ച് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആൻസേഴ്സ് പെട്ടെന്ന് തന്നെ കിട്ടുന്നു. പക്ഷെങ്കിൽ നമ്മൾ ആൻസർ എഴുതുമ്പോൾ സെയിം സെന്റൻസസ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യാതെ വേറെ സെന്റൻസിൽ എഴുതുക വേണ്ട, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സെയിം കോപ്പി ചെയ്യാൻ റൈറ്റ് എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ഇതാണോ?
Most of the time we can copy them as such, but there are occasions or there are situations where you need to see, reconstruct your sentence. സെന്റൻസിനെ ഒന്ന് മാറ്റിപ്പിടിക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യം ചിലപ്പം ചില സെന്റൻസ്, ചില ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസിന്റെ നേച്ചറിനനുസരിച്ചിരിക്കും. ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ അങ്ങനെയാണ്, ഡയറക്റ്റ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണെങ്കിൽ യെസ് യു ക്യാൻ simply copy down the same sentence from the passage, but there are occasions where we need to shuffle the words a bit. ചെറുതായിട്ടൊന്ന് വേർഡ്സിനെ ഒന്ന് അപ്പുറം ഇപ്പുറം ഒന്ന് മാറ്റി എഴുതേണ്ട ചില സാഹചര്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാവാറുണ്ട്. So it depends on the question asked. ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണോ ചോദിച്ചത്, അതിനനുസരിച്ചിട്ട് റീവേർഡ് ചെയ്യണോ റീകൺസ്ട്രക്ട് ചെയ്യണോ സെന്റൻസിനെ എന്നുള്ളത് ആലോചിക്കേണ്ടി വരും. Depends on the question, the kind of question which is asked. See, and then let's move on to the tense aspect. See, questions based on tense forms will be there. And how do you prefer me to handle the topic on tenses? It's a vast one. We can simply skip on to some of the tense forms and then move on. Or would you like me to have it from the very beginning, the different tense forms? The past, the present and the future, and the various forms that come under it. I think we can follow it in a systematic order. The tense forms, tenses in English. We know we have the three main tenses, the past, the present, and the future. See, similarly, we have, you might be familiar with what is called the V1, V2, and the V3 form. V1 is the present form. The base form of the verb is used in that. The simple present tense, I suppose. And then V2 is the past tense. V3 is the past participle. See, for all, many of the words in English, we have three separate words indicating the past, the present, and the past participle, V1, V2, and V3. See, this is not specifically mentioned as a grammar text in your textbook. ഒരു ഗ്രാമർ ടെക്സ്റ്റിലെ പോലെ ഇതിൽ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് ഫ്യൂച്ചർ, പ്രസന്റ്, പാസ്റ്റ്, ഫ്യൂച്ചർ അങ്ങനെ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല. ജസ്റ്റ് എ സെക്കൻഡ്. Yes. See, we have, the text does not give you a proper discussion on tenses, all the three tenses and their different forms, but there are part by part discussion on tenses. In one of the blocks, they have discussed about the future tense. In yet another block, they have discussed about the past tense, the various forms of the past tense. So, hello sister, are you there? Manju sister?
Yes.
Sister, കാലാവസ്ഥ ഇച്ചിരി ഇടിയൊക്കെ വരുന്നുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ഇവിടെ എനിക്ക് കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുമെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നില്ല. ഹലോ.
ഓക്കെ, അപ്പൊ ടീച്ചർ ഒരു ലാസ്റ്റ് ഒരു കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യാവുന്ന രീതിയിൽ എത്തിയെങ്കിൽ കൺക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യാം നമുക്ക്.
ചെയ്യാവോ? അങ്ങനെ അടുത്ത ക്ലാസ്സിലാണെങ്കിൽ ടെൻസസ് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് മറ്റു കാര്യങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യായിരുന്നു.
ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. കാലാവസ്ഥ പ്രതികൂലം ആയതുകൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ ഇവിടെ വെച്ച് നിർത്താം, എന്നിട്ട് അത് നെക്സ്റ്റ് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ കണ്ടിന്യൂ ചെയ്യാം.
ഓക്കെ സിസ്റ്റർ. യെസ്, ഹലോ.
ഇതിന്റെ പ്രീവിയസ് കിട്ടുക